Sure.
No, this is qualifying.
Okay. Fast qualifier. Danny Alton, 14.618 in a dwarf.
Wow.
Those things, I'm telling you. You got if you're going to watch dwarf cars,
that's the place to do it.
It absolutely
Yeah.
is. Sunset Speedway is, and
We talked about that last week, and that would be
perfect size track for the dwarfs. It's fast. They can race. You know, we've seen them go 4 wide when I was announcing there. And I mean, those guys, they put on one heck of a show.
So who are you going to put your money on to win, Corey?
For the main?
Yeah.
I'd almost bet that Jake Van Ortwijk won it.
That's funny because last week you said Martinez or Youngren.
Well, this is a different week.
There's no Martinez.
No, but Youngren came in second.
Youngren's quick.
He is. I think, you know, when we've talked about those guys, they're pretty much the standard of those cars in our area. But Van Ortwijk, we've seen him in not just in dwarfs, in other classes.
Modifieds.
Right, and he's a good driver. I mean, he does get around pretty well, and he likes Sunset. I mean, that's kind of his home base. You don't see him travel real far. He's usually a homer.
Yeah, that between there and St. Helens is right in his backyard.
Right in that area. He stays there. Love to see him come out of the big tracks. You know, I mean, it's a tow. It's people got to travel.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
But there's guys that just don't like to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know that when I was driving to Sunset to announce that drive home after being there all day,
I don't know how you did it.
Was everything I could do to keep my eyes open.
Yeah.
When I got home, it was 2:00 in the morning by the time I got home.
Oh,
yeah, straight down I-5.
Yeah,
that's good.
It is a boring drive.
Boring drive.
It is.
Every time we've towed back from Banks back down to the Albany area, we pull over at least twice. I mean, it's, you know, we've had to do driver changes in Woodburn.
When it's 80, 90 degrees outside and you're out in the sun all day and you're dehydrated and you've been working all day and racing all day in the fire suits and you want to get home and you're just, it's everything you can do to keep your eyes open. And I know Sandy hated it.
Oh,
yeah. You know.
Trust me, I live in Portland. That drive.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it, hour and a half? Hour and a half each way for you?
An hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
And you got to go through traffic and...
Well, I don't go the speed limit.
Sure you do.
Joey never goes the speed limit. He's always 25.
I know how Joey drives.
When it's 65, it means go 75.
Exactly.
Well, on
That's why we made such good time in Antioch, going to Antioch.
Yeah,
and
that's
back.
probably why we blew the rear end.
Yeah, probably.
Wore the front brakes out, too.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that trailer you've got is a heavy trailer, Joey.
Oh, it ain't no light trailer.
That is a heavy one.
It ain't no small one. He ain't towing a dwarf in there.
Right. Yeah.
I could haul a dwarf and a late model.
He could put a dwarf A main in that trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a
little
big one.
too big.
That's a big one.
But look at this. Surprises me with the sport mods taking off as much as they are, only 4 timed in.
Yeah, that especially at Sunset, the sport mods, because it sounded like it was going to be a big deal there.
You would think it would be.
But you know,
it's kind of like the dwarfs. You know, they're more suited for that.
I think all the guys.
Track, I think
they're all branching out to Cottage Grove.
Well,
a lot of them are.
Yeah.
That's kind of the sport mod center. You know, the epicenter for the Northwest right now is Cottage Grove. They're getting a lot of them down there, and I think everybody that was racing sport mods when I was announcing at Grove has all stepped up to either IMCA mods or other divisions
or wing sprint.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's that?
The wing sprint cars.
You wouldn't see me getting one of those.
No.
No, I mean Cottage Grove has the sport mods and the wing sprints. You know, they got it going on down there.
Mike Medell drives up from Medford to
yeah.
Cottage Grove. You know, which I know it's only half the distance here, but still every week there's another long tow to go race at Cottage Grove with.
And he's got a heck of a pass to go over too.
You know, it's only an hour from here to Cottage Grove.
Right.
Yep.
So it's 2 hours from Cottage Grove to Medford?
Yeah, I think so.
Roughly.
Yeah.
So I mean that's 4 hours of tow time.
Maybe a little more. I don't know. That trip coming back from Grants Pass seemed like it was long, wouldn't
That's
it?
because we were in Grants Pass half the day. Actually, we were out of Grants Pass out on some side road, but
at least you got out into a side road. But look at 3 completed the main.
I don't know if I ever gave a big shout out to
3
Steve Moore on the show here for coming and rescuing us.
Well, I gave him a big shout out.
Oh, I know. I know you did, but I don't
he
think I
knows
ever
how
said anything
grateful
on
we
the
were
show.
for that.
Yeah, that was
big time.
Thank God I had Warren.
He's entertaining, isn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, at least I had somebody there. I would have. Sheesh.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done.
That would suck. Yeah. I'm not surprised to see John Henry's name at the top of that list right there.
I'm not either.
I mean, there's a dude that we've seen him run everything from the 4 cylinders into the pure stocks, and I've seen him win at all levels. He's a quality race car driver, and he is one of those guys. And you've seen him run. He will get every ounce of performance out of his car.
Yes,
I mean, he
will.
Just gets in there, and he's got a knack for doing it. And I'm not surprised to see him pick up the win there in the sport mods.
Yeah. Cottage Grove.
Okay.
Another fun track, but Street Stocks. Look at that.
That's all that was there?
That's all that was there.
They had 5 street stocks. See, that surprised me. And Dave Schmidt.
Where's his late model at?
I think he's having too much fun with his street stocks. That's all I've seen him in yet this year. But we will see him
You need to call him, Joey, and tell him you want to race him.
I don't have his number, but I'd sure glad to get another car in late models.
Well, that's
for sure.
Yeah.
And his late model, I mean, we've seen him be fairly competitive at Willamette. I mean, it's a good car.
Rocket.
Yeah. Everything he's got is pretty fast.
Yeah.
Remember when he was in the modified?
Yeah, remember the Super Sport he brought out with Ron Wilson last year? It was a good Super Sport car. It was in the dash. You know, it's a good race car, but no surprise to see him at the top of the speed chart anyway. And the kid that just graduated high school, yesterday he graduated, got the win.
Evan Britton.
So here's something. This is the main event.
Yeah.
Where's Schmidt's name?
I don't know.
I see 5 cars on there, but I don't see Schmidt's name in the feature.
Well, let's see what happened here.
Yeah, he did the heat race.
Well, he had to break in the heat race. He was 3 laps down.
Man.
Have you seen this Evan Britton kid in the 85? Have you watched
him at Cottage Grove, yeah.
He's fast.
Oh, he's good.
Racing with the Langen stables. You know, I mean, those guys all put out good. They put out some pretty fast cars out of there.
Yes, they
do. They do.
And he just graduated high school, and he's going to be a name to watch advance through the ranks. He's a pretty good driver from what I've seen.
Well, I think we found where the sport mods went this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah,
13
of them right there at Cottage Grove, and look who's at the top of the list.
Is that Chris Frisbee?
Fast qualifier was Chris Frisbee, only car in the 15-second bracket.
4/10 faster than second.
That says something. And look at Jason Nelson.
Yep.
4.65 back.
Third fast. Look at the names. I mean, McHarg, Kaufman. You got Daniel Ray was 8th fast.
And I'm glad to see D-Ray back out there running after what happened to his car at Willamette Speedway.
Yeah.
I mean, he got crunched.
Yeah.
But,
was he running that car? I thought that car was done.
I thought it was too, but he might have pieced it back together, and he's going to just keep racing because he wants to go racing.
He's no different than any other racer. If they can fix it and get on the track, you know how you guys do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, even if it takes the backhoe and a chain, we'll make it right.
Chris Frisbee, I think, is when you talk sport mods. Okay, when you talk sport mods,
Chris Frisbee always comes to the top.
He does. He really does. And it's between, I'd say, in that division, when you want to talk about quality drivers, quality cars, the top 2, when I hear sport mod, I think of Chris Frisbee and I think of Mike Medell.
Same here. Yeah.
And what about Bratton?
Yeah, well, Jordan Bratton.
Right.
And Nelson.
Well, those are your top 4. Those are your top 4.
Those are your top 4.
There's a lot of good cars in the class.
That's another class.
Between them and the street stocks, it's just blowing up. I mean, the sport mods, I think we're going to have, I think we'll see 30 of them around the area next year. I mean, I think it'll double in size, if not.
Well, here's good. You know, we're talking about the street stocks taking off. Sport mods, you're seeing new cars, new modifieds,
brand new chassis,
brand new razors, brand new.
I just saw
Shaw cars.
I just saw an ad on Facebook on one of the race car, selling sites. Skyrocket chassis, Kelly Shyrock cars, Shyrock, yeah, weird.
Shyrock, yeah.
Shyrock, yeah. Yeah, no kidding. I saw a pair of them, and these are nice cars. A pair of them. This is where, because they're really blowing up here. A pair of them back there, $7,000.
Wow.
For both?
For both. One of them had everything but an engine. The other one was a bare chassis, but had all the parts for it.
How old were they?
One was a 14. One was an 8.
Whoa. That's a pretty good deal.
That's a heck of a deal for a pair of race cars. $7,000.
I think he wants to come across this table and slap you for not telling him about this.
That's a heck of a deal. It's on one of those sites. You can scroll through and find them, and they're nice. I mean, their pictures of them posted. Nice race cars.
Is that on the Dirt Late Models site?
It was an IMCA buy sell trade, one of those or something. But I mean, nice race cars, quality stuff. But again, you talk about what it costs to race back there in the Midwest. Those cars aren't worth anything, those guys, either.
No.
That's the funny thing. You can go back there and buy a nice car for half of what a nice car costs here. Now, it might have twice as many nights on it, but at the same time, there's no value to race cars even at the level they're racing at, for the money they're racing at, they're just so disposable.
Oh, it's serious back there with IMCA.
It is.
Oh,
serious.
It really go to Boone.
Go anywhere.
Yeah.
Go anywhere. You watch the IMCA modifieds; they're serious.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
There's big races back there. And
you're seeing races that rival. I mean, money wise, anything you'll see.
50 grand.
Yep, $50,000 to win.
Yeah, that was just a couple weeks ago, wasn't it? That was
$50,000, and it was like an ungodly amount to start the race too. $3,000 to start.
I think it was $3,000 to start.
Wow.
That's the one that Strickler won.
That's the one Strickler won. Yeah.
So okay, let's talk about that real quick. So on a top flight, best of everything, IMCA mod. Race ready, front to back, side to side. What are we looking at for a cost, Joey? I mean, realistically,
honestly,
the best of
nowadays,
everything.
turnkey or
a
roller.
Turnkey
I know
car.
the rollers are anywhere from 22 to 25,000 nowadays, and that's at the ballpark of a late model,
right?
In the back of the day, a late model used to cost $25,000. You could buy a brand new Rayburn for $21,000. You stick a motor in and go,
right?
That's just everything's just ballooned. Rockets are now $40,000 to buy one.
Bloomquist cars.
Bloomquist cars, you don't even know what those are.
Ridiculous.
Nobody's got the money to do it.
Right. And you have to buy 2 of them.
Lethal chassis modified. Razor chassis modified.
Yeah.
They're just Longhorns, just outrageous amounts of money.
And talking about the Longhorn, the XR1s right there, they took Longhorns.
Pretty much the same kind of car.
Yep.
I mean, they
took Longhorn's engineer and developed a car.
Yep. Oh, yeah. They were tired of getting their butt whooped. Well, they weren't even really getting their butt whooped.
They were competitive, but Longhorn.
But Davenport was on one, and they wanted that. They wanted that knowledge. And the thing about it is, you talk about Longhorn. That's Bobby Labonte, NASCAR,
right?
Tie downs, speed tunnels, all the technology you can ever want,
right?
And that's what's changing with all these cars. That's why the price is just skyrocketing, because all these cars are getting all that new technology.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You want to go fast? They know you're going to spend the money. They know that. I mean, we've seen guys. I mean, how many racers? Okay, so since you've been racing, Joey, how many racers have you known that have been divorced?
Oh,
can you count that high?
No. Here. Let me make that a little easier. How many aren't?
Yeah, right. 9. Yeah. Joey's going, man.
Yeah, he's thinking right now.
Yeah, he's going, maybe I shouldn't do this girlfriend thing.
I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of commitment to raise a car.
It does.
Takes a lot of money.
It does.
And it takes away from other fun things that you could do.
Family time.
With family and with other.
Unless your family's into it with you. Which is ideal, but,
right.
but rare.
Everybody's usually into it till you start doing bad or things start going south.
Or the wife starts saying, well, we could have bought a house.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
But honey, I need a race car. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. No, you don't need that.
No, that's where you go, honey, we can get a toter.
Yeah.
Boom.
And we'll homeschool.
House on wheels.
Yep. There you go. But look.
And it costs just as much.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Look at the main.
This is at Grove.
This is at Grove for the Sport Mods.
Steve Hopkins.
Yeah. Steve Hopkins.
Roy Kirk, Matt Brown, Art Hall, Buddy McHarg.
Sean Hand.
Yep. Another driver out of, look at his grandfather, Robert.
And is that Braden's brother? Or
Yeah.
What happened to him?
He's taking time off.
Didn't he just win a race not long ago?
No.
Braden?
He sold all of his stuff. He's taking some time off, is what I've heard, but I can't confirm that 100%. I haven't talked to Braden in years.
Good driver.
And he won a lot of races.
He did. In an X Factor.
He ran an X Factor for a little while. That's right.
He did.
I forgot about that.
Oh, and I'll tell you, that's when I was really impressed with the X Factor cars, was because when we saw him take that nasty flip down in turn 1 at Willamette.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that now.
Car was tore up, but it stayed safe, and he got out and walked away. And it was a high-speed wreck. It really was. But that's when I was impressed. When I saw that, I said, wow, Miller and those guys, they're doing it right. It held up, and they actually fixed that car. It came out, and he won some races with it.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
Those X Factors I wish we could see those in mass production.
That makes 2 of us. I really do.
They're great race cars.
I've had the opportunity to drive both late model and mod, and I can honestly say.
And you won in both of them.
I did. They're good cars.
Yep. So that X Factor mod that you had, where'd that go?
That's actually Steven Sturdivant's car.
Okay.
And he's doing real good.
It's a good race car.
That's the best that kid's ever done.
Well, didn't you run that car 5 times and have 3 wins?
I ran it 5 times and got 3 wins.
Yeah.
And I ended up giving it to the guy. He got lucky. If he's listening, you're welcome. That was a tough one to get rid of because that modified was fun to drive.
It
I
was
just couldn't
fast.
afford to do both, and it's a